My guest is Michael Wolfgang Bauch. He is an independent videographer, a filmmaker who has produced Riding Bikes with the Dutch, and is a member of Bikes Belong. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Great. Thanks. Good to be here.
I've just watched a very enjoyable documentary about your experience in Amsterdam. Your film presents the love of the Dutch with the bicycle, not just for recreation or for racing, but truly as a mode of transportation. You even said that there are more bicycles in Holland than there are people?
Yeah, that's very true. It's just become, or it has been for a long time, just part of their daily lives. It's been very integrated, whereas in the U.S. it seems to be a separate activity, cycling. To them, it's as natural as walking out the back door and putting on a pair of shoes.
I enjoyed seeing how the parents would get their kids ready for school, take them to school. The kids would either ride the bicycle along with the parents or on the back seat or in some very special kinds of bicycles that are available to put kids in, not just infants.
Yeah, they use what they have, and they've got so many different bikes over there that a lot of us have never seen. And one of them is the Bach Fiets, which basically means cargo bike. And to them, that's almost like the SUV of Holland. It's basically a very practical bike that you can put two kids, a dog, your groceries, and instead of filling it with gas, you get to ride it like a bike.
You actually brought one over here and use it. It's over 100 pounds?
Yeah, it is built to last a lifetime. The frame itself has like a 10-year warranty, and it's almost like pedaling a mini truck, which sounds cumbersome, but once you get it moving and you get that mass moving, it really rides almost like a regular bike. Plus, you're able to move all these daily errand type of things that just makes it very, very practical.
What was noticeable, though, was that most of them were not wearing helmets, and that seems to be so important here on our streets. I certainly wouldn't want to get on a bicycle without a helmet.
Yeah, I think to the Dutch it's just a very different attitude. That's one of those things that people notice right off the bat in the movie. Either if you see someone in a helmet in Holland, they're either a tourist or there's someone out doing sports riding and doing it for sport. I think it's just a different attitude. They regard safety more as the fact that the cars know that there's bikes on the road. There's safety in numbers because so many people ride their bikes. And the rules of the road there are different. Basically, cars are held very accountable for watching out for people on bikes. And they feel if they were to ever make helmets mandatory, it would really decrease their ridership. And overall, per capita, per person, their safety numbers are much better than ours here in the United States.
The city, though, it has a better design for bicycles. It actually has bike lanes that are separated from the cars. It has massive numbers of places to lock your bicycle. Even old barges in the canals are basically parking structures.
Oh, it'll blow you away. If you get off at the main train station when you enter Amsterdam, there's a 3-level parking structure, something that you would see here in the States for cars, dedicated solely to bikes. And it holds 2,500 bikes all in this one giant parking structure. And they've dedicated a lot of their efforts to making cycling friendly and really part of life, integrated it with traffic and integrated it with the city. It's amazing to see.
Unlike here in the United States, it's basically accepted regardless of how much money you make. Politicians will be riding, wealthy people will be riding their bicycles. It's a lot easier than taking a car.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I wish I would have had a chance to talk about that more after the film, but it's basically, there's no social stigma to riding a bike. If you're a politician, in fact, one of the guys I interviewed was from the city government of Amsterdam. I interviewed him. He had maybe 10 minutes or less to do the interview. As soon as he said goodbye, he jumped on his bike and rode off in a suit and tie. And that's something very, very normal there. If you see that here, it's an anomaly. There, it's part of life.
I must say, though, that the most unexpected bicycle that I saw was a bachelor party where 13 people are bicycling on the same bicycle. Explain how they did that.
Yeah, you know, again, cycling is just part of life, and a bachelor party is part of life. And so there are companies that basically rent these bikes out. It holds, like you said, 12, 13, I think maybe 14 riders. There's a tap on board with a barrel of beer. And, you know, they ride this through the city, not very fast, maybe about 5 miles an hour. And they enjoy being part of the city and riding around on this bike with the bar. And why not? The beer is fuel. Why not use it for fuel and enjoy the day?
There were some great shots in your film, Riding Bikes with the Dutch. You'd planned to focus on bicycles in Holland, but a lot of the film also focuses on Long Beach, California, where you live, and how Long Beach is considered a real bike-friendly town. What is happening here in the United States?
Yeah, that's a big point of the film, is that it really was a journey for me. I started in 2007 filming the Long Beach footage. We did a home exchange in order to do that, and really wanted to live the life of someone in Amsterdam. And I thought the movie would just be about Amsterdam, but when I came home, so much was going on here in Long Beach that I couldn't ignore it. I figured, gosh, this has got to be part of the film. This is the positive change that's happening in the United States, and Long Beach is a great example of it. A lot of stars aligned. There was great people in the city government, there were great people in the city, throughout the city, and people on bikes that decided that, you know, it was time to make Long Beach one of the most bicycle-friendly cities in the U.S. We've got Sharrows, we've got all these great things happening and coming together to make Long Beach possibly one of the best bicycling cities in the nation.
So Long Beach has green paint along the roads to remind the automobile driver that bicycles have a right to the road. At the metro station, which comes from downtown Los Angeles to all the attractions here in Long Beach, there are actually bike stations where people can lock their bicycles safely indoors, have access 24 hours, have a bike repair person if necessary, lots of extra features. And I noticed even here at the screening of the film, there was quite a lot of bike congestion outside because people rode their bicycles, they didn't take their cars, and there were extra bike racks that were put out so that they could lock them.
Yeah, in fact, we had bike valet. How often do you get bike valet? You pull up to a place, and instead of being ignored because you're on a bike, you actually get someone coming out to, you know, officially park your bike and welcome you to a business. And I think that's a lot of what people aren't realizing at first, is that bikes, people who ride bikes, are actually valuable to businesses. They're customers. So if you can get people riding their bikes to businesses, like here on 2nd Street with the Sharrows, you can actually get more customers in the store because parking's so impacted. You might be able to park 1 or 2 cars in front of a store, but you could park potentially 50 bikes in front of the store. Why wouldn't you embrace more customers?
I'd like to thank you so very much for providing such an enlightening and inspiring documentary, and thank you for being my guest.
Thanks a lot. It was great to be on the program.
I have been speaking with Michael Wolfgang Bauch, who is an independent videographer and filmmaker who produced Riding Bikes with the Dutch. We'll be back in a moment with more ecological issues.
Environmental Directions continues with more important information about the world's ecological crisis.